Your job is you would have to go to work.
And went to school, and still.
This video is just it's just rage bait, man. It's just a stupid amount of rage. It's like all the adults actually getting fucking tilted because Lacey hops on the mic and he goes, yeah, 4 hours of Warzone is way harder than saving a life. Ron hops on and he goes, you're a doctor, you save 1 life. I'm a streamer, I save 1,000.
And paid rent?
Yes, I still work.
That's your choice. You're
high. You're hungover.
That's what I'm playing video games. I play video games on my spare time.
I don't even enjoy streaming anymore.
I'll give it 5 minutes. I'll give it actually 5 minutes.
What's up? How's it going?
Same old different day.
Okay.
Damn.
All right. So my
That was
argument
tough.
here is that streaming and social media creation is harder than a 9-to-5.
Facts.
Nah, it's not facts, bro. 9 to 5 is way harder, homie.
Why do you say that?
Because you gotta get up every motherfucking day, go to the motherfucking bullshit job, and slave for fucking pennies.
See, that's the thing is you're right. You get up every day, you go through the motions. You don't have to get a good night's sleep. You don't have to be focused. You don't have to be locked in. You wake up, you go, you flip some patties,
Nah,
sign a few.
I can't already. I already can't. Okay. I do think a 9 to 5 is 100% more draining, tiring, and soul-sucking, which I think is what this guy's argument ultimately is. And the way he's phrasing it is getting up in the morning. I also think it's harder to succeed as a streamer. And this is just like statistically because 98% of streamers fail to do it as a job. So it's harder to succeed in that realm. But the difficulty oftentimes comes in a lot of forms. A lot of it's luck, a lot of it's opportunity, a lot of it's, maybe charisma, looks, things that you have maybe less control over. It is easier to get a 9 to 5 job and hold it than it is to stream full time. That's true.
Envelopes, answer phone calls. With streaming and social media creation, you have to be on your game 24/7. It's like a switch that never
when you're
turns
a mail
off.
carrier, I'm a mail carrier, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. I get treated like shit every motherfucking day.
We have to
still
deal with
slaving
thousands,
every day.
tens of thousands of
Bullshit.
people critiquing every little thing we do, every
Man.
decision we make, every thought
You
we
guys
have.
got it made.
Yeah. What he doesn't know is that when he says deal with it, he means fucking go to his calm. When he gets fucking sad because people are ripping him online. I don't really think he would be too impressed with the way that you're dealing with it. The mailman spot seems hard too. I might give this one to the mailman. This might be 1 point mailman.
Man, I wish I had a mate like y'all.
We don't have to sign a few envelopes and put them in a mailbox.
Man,
we
you
have
got
to
it gravy, bro.
What's the next trend?
Because
What's the next
shit I
idea?
go through every
Oh my
day.
God, I have to stream today.
And I got dogs that want to bite my ass
And
every
you have
day.
lunch breaks. You have lunch breaks. We don't have breaks. We're on 24/7.
You got
high energy. 20.
Okay, hold up. We're on 24/7. I'm sorry. Real quick. Last 30 days, 223 hours. Last year, we have 2,800 hours. I take back everything I said. That's an insane amount of hours. I was going to be hurtful. I was going to try to talk shit on him. That's actually a lot of hours. No, actually, that's Point Lacey. That's actually an insane amount. Holy fuck. 2,800 hours is so many. That's so many. Pause. That's so many hours. 2,805 a year? That's like 8 hours a day, every day, no days off. Hey,
I wish I could be at home like you and get back and get paid big money.
We're not even at home. We're walking around. We're walking around doing things, going to parties, doing all this stuff.
I got to slave just for not even 100,000 a year. I got to work double overtime. Bullshit.
Okay, what about this? You're guaranteed to get paid. You have a
No, I'm not.
steady rate.
You're not guaranteed?
I don't work, I don't get paid.
True.
It's simple as that.
Yeah, but you have a guaranteed
Guaranteed pay if you
No,
work.
I
That's
don't.
your decision if you don't want
I
to work.
gotta work at the job for
If
years.
I don't go live, I don't
just
get paid
to
either.
collect.
We don't got to deal with people spamming L's.
Yes, we have people in the chat spamming L's. Oh, this is boring. We don't like this field. You have to create content. Imagine you have to be high energy. Oh, hey guys, how's it going? You guys like this stream?
That's me 24/7. I'd rather do that.
So why don't you become a streamer?
Man, that's what I want to do. F that. F does not define shit.
If streaming is
And the answer is everybody would take the job of being a streamer instantly. Everybody would take it instantly. But it's not there for the taking. It's not there for the taking. It's easy to stream. It's hard to be a successful streamer. Thank you for the 34 months, Wyland. Appreciate the prime.
so easy, how come every single person in this seat is not a streamer?
People are lazy. They want to put in the work.
That's their fault.
I get called fat all the time.
Oh, so what?
You are fat.
I get called fat and chubby. All my homeboys call me chubby, fat,
Well,
whatever.
That's your homeboys, though. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's a
Yeah.
homeboy.
Yeah, and you right, homeboy, you right. But check this out. My nigga, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go out there and get that bag.
I think she's got something she wants to say.
Oh my gosh, wait, we're seeing flags.
Unfortunately, these flags are actually useless. We decided to use a timer instead because we suck at explaining things.
And it's your job? Okay, -1 then. I'm gonna give point to Mailman. I think Mailman beat Lacey. I'm giving 1 point to Mailman. I think Lacey was kind of struggling and needed support from his peanut gallery. I don't think Mailman needed any support.
So you raised your flag. Is there a reason you did
Yeah,
that?
because I was actually a cook for 15 years. So that means for 15 years, I had to get up practically every day,
That's
get
tough.
dressed, go to work, and I had to deal with not only adults, but I also had to deal with children.
That's tough.
Children every day.
We deal with tens of thousands of children and adults.
The
They
Lacey
deal with 95% children.
thugs are. Do you not know who the Lacey thugs are?
I can't go out in public without 10 kids coming up and asking for a picture. You know how hard that is of a life?
Isn't that
That is
special?
difficult.
How long do you think this is going to last?
Forever.
Forever,
You think this
hopefully.
is going to last forever?
I hope so. You just proved my point for me. I don't have that security that's going to last forever. Having a job, being
That's
a
why you
cook,
gotta
you
grind.
have that security of, oh, I have a job, I have a degree, I have this.
That's true.
This could end for me tomorrow.
Hypothetically, if you all of a sudden you lost all your followers, what would you do?
I know what he'll do. Get up.
No, I'm asking
Trigger
him.
warning.
I'm asking him. What would you
Job.
do? If you lost completely all your YouTubers, you had nothing. No one watched you anymore. I didn't even watch you anymore. What would you have to do? You would have to actually go to work. Oh my God, did I just cuss at you?
That's a slur. If I did lose all my followers, I would probably buy a couple houses and start my real estate empire.
Okay, so then you would have to actually go to work. You would actually have to go
No, he would never go to work. I see the argument she's going for, and it's totally true. Lacey is not cut out for a 9 to 5. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't go back to that. Life's been too sweet. He wouldn't have the discipline. He would become a landlord 100%. He's made enough money to become a landlord and just live off that shit.
to the
And
office.
I would think that would be a much easier job than streaming.
You gotta go into your setup though and sit in front of studio lights and read the chat and be interactive.
But no, he lost everybody. He lost everybody. He has no followers whatsoever. He would have to turn
but
around.
you're proving my point.
You would have
You're
to
proving
turn
my
around.
point. You're proving my point on why this is harder because I could lose it all
Yeah,
tomorrow.
but you could lose it tomorrow.
If let's say you're a cook, right? Let's say you got fired. You have hundreds of people lined up. You could go cook over here, cook over there.
You could be a private chef.
You could be a private chef. Exactly. I don't have that security.
I was a cook in the school system. I cooked all frozen food.
Wait, her voice. Oh, can I play that back?
Chef, exactly. I don't have that security.
I was a cook in the school system. I cooked all frozen food.
What does that sound like? Please get me there. Oh my God, she sounds like somebody.
Private chef, exactly. I don't have that security.
I was a cook in the school system.
Mrs. Potato Head, thank you. Like that.
I think I
cooked all frozen food.
Exactly. I don't have that security.
I was a cook in the school system. I cooked all frozen food.
But you still cook.
You still cook. You go cook for another school.
think I saw a flag right here.
Flags. I see red flags.
I'm gonna have to backlight yo, Lacey. This is the truth.
That was point Lacey, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that was a point for Lacey. I understand what her argument was. Unfortunately, I feel like arguing that what would you do after streaming isn't really a good argument. I don't think it's really a strong argument. I'm going 1-1.
I think something you guys aren't taking into account. Say we get a brand deal, I gotta post on an Instagram story. I gotta go find the 4 local cans. I gotta.
No, you don't get it, Chad, because he's actually being real right now. Because you do have to post an Insta story and you have to add the partnered post. And if you don't get the link because you didn't say this was a partnered post, then you have to delete it and re-add the post and make a new post. And it's like, oh, but this post, because I just uploaded, it's already been seen by 20,000 people. Then the partner's like, well, I'm sorry, you need to repost the post. So then you delete the post and repost the post. But then the post isn't doing as well because the people who saw the post are like, why'd you re-upload the post, Ludwig? And you have to, well, and you don't want to explain like, oh, I fucked up. So you just have to kind of tank it. And then the post is worse. And the partner's like, why is the post doing worse? And you're like, well, they don't, that's tough. That is tricky.
Make sure, like I gotta make sure I get the 4 local can. And
Not to mention,
You have to do work. That's what we have to do.
it ruins our Twitter impressions too.
Oh my God, thank you. Yes.
tag them.
And then that goes into falling off.
My name is Rhonda. I'm a registered nurse from the South.
Nice to meet you,
From
Rhonda.
Nice to meet you, Rhonda.
35 years ago, I decided to go to nursing school because I wanted to be a creative, I thought. I loved fashion, I loved acting, I loved singing. But in the South, whole lot of racism. Back in the 60s and the 50s, people didn't give a rat's ass if you created something, and they wouldn't support your business. So yes, a 9 to 5 is much harder. I had to work 7 to 3, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I had to support my daughter.
Rhonda,
You get spoiled.
Rhonda, can I ask you a question?
Nope.
Have you ever done
You
it?
get spoiled. No.
Rhonda,
You get spoiled. Your mama and
Rhonda,
daddy keep
Rhonda.
giving it
He's
to
been
you.
gagged. Lacey, it's time to
I
shut
got a
up.
question.
You asked if you could ask a question. Why do you ask if you could ask a question if the answer no is not allowed for you? Then you shouldn't say, can I ask a question? You just ask the question. Otherwise, don't say, can I ask a question? That's all. Just don't say it because you didn't mean it, clearly. Inspired, thank you. Junko, thank you for the 5 gifted. Is that not a Junko? Isn't that what they call Jinxie?
For Rhonda, I got a question for Rhonda. Rhonda,
Yes.
have you ever done a subathon?
What's a subathon?
30
Dead ass.
days straight,
24
hours a day.
day and night. No break.
We all streamed.
That ain't even healthy.
You're talking about working 7 to 3. You have 2 30-minute breaks throughout that. You get to go home afterwards, see your family, relax. We were on camera 30 days straight, no personal.
What
You know how
day
hard
were
it is
you a registered
to
nurse?
have.
When did you get a break? You clean boo-boo?
When have you ran a 3-minute ad?
You
When have you
clean
ever
up
ran? You
vomit,
never ran a 3-minute ad.
pass trays, you
It's really unfair to be arguing this at different generations too. Because you know what's way harder than streaming is having a job and a family and children. That's way harder and it's not close. But if it was because like how old is Lacey? 23 or some shit? If there's a 23-year-old across that table and they're working at Starbucks, like, yeah, they got nothing. They got nothing. 22, even better, bro. A 22-year-old across the fucking table. They got nothing. They lose that argument. But Rhonda wins this argument. She's a nurse who's got a family that she has to take care of, and she has to show up every day. Lacey's got no responsibility. Of course he can fuck off for 30 days. He can fuck off for 30 days because nobody in his life needs him. That sounded meaner than I meant it to be. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. There's nobody he has to care for. If he disappears for 30 days, nobody dies. If Rhonda disappears for 30 days, it's not good for the family. The family they're not thriving in that circumstance.
short-handed.
Talk about the fake relationships that you have.
Oh my God.
Now
It's fake
think
on
about
social
this.
media.
Think about this. Imagine
Sure.
every little person, we call them parasocials. They judge your
Parasocials.
relationships. You can't go out to dinner or have a girl take a picture in your car
Jason saying was interesting.
without them finding out and
I
judging
got
you.
caught with
based
my
on it.
ex.
I got
in
caught with
public.
my ex, and I got treated like I was a pedophile for it.
But mental health. When you stop caring about what people think,
What was a
and
pedophile
what they
comment?
say about you,
Why was it? What was a
do
pedophile
you.
comment there?
Do you? And that's a big problem with
What was that
young
comment?
people. You care about what people think, social media, what they say about
Because
you.
that's our
That's
job.
our job.
You said you're a nurse, right?
35 years.
What do you think's harder? 24-hour open surgery, like when you're helping with, the doctor, et cetera, or a 24-hour stream?
24-hour open surgery.
Oh,
You're
brother.
short-handed.
We're saving thousands, you're saving one.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm giving a point to Rhonda. I'm sorry. I'm giving a point to Rhonda. They basically gave up arguing. All they did was rage bait. There was no argument there. That was just rage baiting. That was back to back to back rage baiting. There's no argument at all.
All right, so you said 30-day subathon, right?
Thank you, Junko, for the 5.
Yep.
My argument is that none of you guys actually did any of the work during that, and it was all your filmers, your
part of the
editors,
Faze team?
your producers. All these people back here are the ones doing the work. You guys just show up and have fun.
They didn't do anything.
It's a group project.
No, because here's the thing.
Well, that's bad takes.
That's bad takes. That's bad takes. That's bad takes.
It
Hey,
wouldn't
he's getting a
have
round of
any
applause.
work if it wasn't for us, though.
Junko, thank you for the tier 1 too. Here's the reality. Their lives, the Faze guys' lives, and I know this is all in good fun, so no one actually gives a shit. It's all in good. No one's actually fucking trying to argue on the Faze side. They all make millions of dollars. Life is way easier with millions of dollars. It just is. Okay? And if you worked a 9 to 5 as a nurse and you had $15 million in your bank account, you would just show up to work when you want, and being a nurse would be really, really easy. Because it's not that big of a deal if you don't pick up that many shifts because you got $50 million fucking dollars.
I would even go as far to say, as every person in this room, we keep them employed as well. Because here's the thing, we get sponsors from these companies that have 9 to 5s, right? These companies, hold on. These companies are not viable without influencers to push the brand and keep them in business.
Have you ever worked a real job?
No.
So how would you
See,
know?
I have worked a real job.
What was your real job?
I worked 8 months. I worked a double. I worked Walmart and Panera at the same time.
That's just embarrassing to say out loud. You just shouldn't tell people that. Say you've never worked a real job. Just say you never worked a real job.
For a
Why
year.
is she laughing? Bro, she's making me mad. I actually feel like they're wrong.
That's embarrassing. I got to give 1 point to Team 9 to 5 because Lacey got fucking laughed off of the chair. That's valid though. No, it's not. Not that the jobs aren't valid. The tenure isn't valid. I think working at Walmart's a legitimate job. I think working at Panera is a legitimate job. I think 8 months is not legitimate. 8 months is not a real. If you've only ever worked for 8 months in your whole life at a 9 to 5, you just don't, I think, have enough. You're basically a seasonal employee. Like, what are we doing here? Thank you for the 5 gifted. Junko, what are we doing here, Junko? Thank you for the 15 gifted, bro. God damn it. You know what? Actually, I worked hard to get these 15 gifted. Appreciate that. I had to lose 4 CS2 games in a row and only yell at my teammates for 4 hours, which is really hard. Okay? I had to keep in my emotions, which I did a really good job at. He technically has worked. Yeah, I know, but like, It's like when I tell people I worked at a ramen shop because I worked there for 2 days. I bring it up as a joke because it's not actually legitimate. Like I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't have enough experience to be able to speak empathetically from that point of view. It'd be like someone saying, "Yeah, I know how to stream. I've gone live on OBS to 2 viewers." You'd be like, "Okay, well, I don't no disrespect here. I just don't know if you have the full." All right, Ron's in the chair.
Hi, I'm Chris.
All right, Chris.
Why do you think a 9-to-5 job is not harder than what you do?
Well, you're guaranteed to pay.
Guaranteed to pay.
Yeah.
And that makes it harder?
Yeah. No, it makes it easier for you
Makes
guys.
it easier because we have a guaranteed pay.
100%. You have
Makes
security.
it
Talk
easier
about
for
raises.
Makes it easier for 9-to-5 people to have a job because their pay is
Yeah,
guaranteed.
when you go to work every day, everyone's
So you're
like,
basing the ease of a job just on somebody getting paid regularly? Is that what you...
well, let's just say that comes to perspective. If you say someone who works food, if you someone who works a doctor, it's obviously different.
I don't think I agree with Ron off rip because I think if you are guaranteed a pay, you're also guaranteed a ceiling. And in streaming, you're not guaranteed a pay, but you aren't guaranteed a ceiling either. Your ceiling goes crazy.
But if you're talking abroad, 9 to 5, someone who doesn't need a degree, yeah, it's way easier than being a streamer.
How so?
Well, it's because you're guaranteed and you don't need any crazy knowledge. You don't need to go to school for most jobs, like certain things like a 9 to 5. If you wanted to go work at Foot Locker, I could go to Foot Locker, apply, and then next thing you know, I'm selling shoes for pay every single hour.
So according to you, a job is easier or harder based on the guaranteed pay? That's one aspect of it.
Working
right?
at Foot Locker, working at a job like Panera or wherever Lacey is easier than a streamer, yes, because a streamer you have to come up with ideas, you have to stay relevant.
We're talking about ideas now. Okay,
yeah,
we're talking about pay.
Okay, so what do you want to start with, though?
But
it doesn't make. But
well,
you're not even. You keep switching it. So why don't you answer my question?
I'm not switching anything.
You know, you 100% are.
Well, I think
How
Ron,
is it
I think
harder?
to be fair, Ron, you actually switched. He's just trying to package what you're saying in a digestible format. He actually hasn't said anything.
If you're guaranteed to pay, I worked for 4 years of streaming. I didn't make $1.
Well, what's your definition of hard? That's the thing. It's like what
Stuff
is
that
difficult.
you need creativity. You need to get out of your circle, comfort zone.
Yeah.
You need to be able to actually make people believe what you believe in the sense of like, oh, this is good content. Do you watch any TV shows?
I watch YouTube.
Okay, you watch
so
YouTube.
Much YouTube.
So it's the same thing.
Absolutely,
so the people that you're
yeah.
entertained by are the people like us, just for a different audience.
That's true, but you're talking about entertainment as a job. We could talk about entertainment.
This is entertainment,
as a job.
but this
yeah,
is entertainment.
Entertainment
but
as
my
a
question
job
to you
doesn't have
is
any
why?
guarantees. Absolutely.
So do you truthfully, you can sit here and think that working at like a Foot Locker or something like that, I'm just using that because that's the best example, is harder than a streamer?
It depends on what you are saying the word hard means to you. Because
in the
there's
sense of
hard
everyday
physically,
activity. Because some
hard-
people around here said, oh, I got to wake up at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, we have to do the same thing.
Sure.
Some people do that.
And you deal with yourself.
No, we deal with millions
When
of people.
you're creating that content and you have your phone, you're dealing with you and yourself in that phone.
Okay, so what happens?
You're not dealing with
Not true.
coworkers and you're not
That's not
dealing
true at
with-
all. I have an
Okay.
editor that I pay
He has to make an argument at some point. He hasn't made an argument yet.
who relies on me. If I stop doing
Which
any
is
type
later.
of content, he loses
So when
a job.
you go to your job, when you go to work, rather than punching a card, you pick up your phone or you turn on a camera.
Okay, so when you punch the card, let's say, who's above you? Your boss, right? What happens if he just takes the business and he says, oh, we're not doing it anymore? You lose your job.
If the work is picking up a phone or turning on a camera as opposed to going in with a bunch of people and having to multitask tasks you have to do throughout your shift and deal with your
Tasks you gotta do
coworkers
throughout
and
the stream.
interpersonal thing. Tell me how much you do of that stuff while you are actually doing your job for however many number of hours that you are talking and typing and shitting and eating and all that stuff that everybody's watching you do.
Go ahead.
No, but there's actually a mental aspect.
I understand that, yeah.
No. Let me hear me out.
Go ahead.
Camaraderie. Like you have like a group of people, like friendships, relationships, which is the most important thing in life. So do you build that with your coworkers and stuff like that?
Sorry, bye. See you later.
Seeing a lot of flags.
Yeah, okay. That's a point for Ron. Unfortunately, that guy didn't say much. I don't think he ever. I think he asked questions. I think it's two. We're back to 3-2 now. 3-2. That's a point for it's a point for the Faze boys.
What's your name?
So I'm Angelina, and I work as an executive assistant.
You're right. You're right. She's right. She's right. She's right. I'm not gonna lie. She's right. We good though. We good.
All right, so you guys were talking about the mental aspect, and I thought that was really interesting because as someone who works a 9 to 5, technically it's a 10 to 6, but I still have to clock in a certain amount of time. I come home, I'm too tired to cook. Fortunately, I have a beautiful girlfriend that does all of that stuff for me when I get home, but if I didn't, I would have to cook
Okay,
for
Silky was wrong for that. Silky was wrong when she said, I have a girlfriend, and then he audibly sighed out.
Girlfriend that does all of that stuff for me when I get home, but if I didn't, I would have to cook for myself and get to bed in time and wake up in time to cook.
Oh, brother! Oh, a girlfriend, huh? Okay. Sorry, I just understood it as you being in the room with me as an opportunity for me.
Back to my job. You guys talk about how it's hard because there's a mental aspect, and I understand as someone who's been on social media a lot that you get
How long have you
berated.
been on social media? Just to get broad.
So I actually did content creation starting at the age of 14.
Oh, wow.
When I moved to LA, I gained
That's
like
young.
10,000 followers off the bat.
That's a
and
lot.
I was very young and I started working with different brands.
Okay.
I totally understand the mental aspect. It's just that you guys can afford to say, hey, I'm going to go wherever for 2 weeks, and that can be content, that can be your job, and you
True.
actually get to relax and travel the world and have other opportunities.
You're just saying a lot of points.
There's no relaxation.
Just so I can answer a couple. So you were saying like to go back to the beginning, you were saying like you can manage like your time with like relationship. Was that correct? Like you have your girlfriend when you go home, like.
I fortunately have a support system, but I every day like ask myself how I would have been able to do it without.
Example. So you said 14 you started, I started at 16. For about 3 years, I was making money and it slowly went super up and then all of a sudden it went down, right?
Yeah.
I lost everything, fell off completely.
About to
myself. Real story. This is a real story. This isn't a joke. Why are you smiling?
We've all been there. Every 9 to 5 worker has been there.
So
That's
going
why.
back to what you said, how you have a
Amen,
support
bro.
system. I moved across the country
Amen.
from my parents at the age of 19, lived alone in an apartment, was paying a certain amount of money every single month, and I was losing money. I wasn't making enough money to pay my, like I had money in my bank for my rent, but I wasn't making more than my rent.
Yeah.
So I was losing.
You were in the red every month.
I was in the
I
red
got
every
you.
single month. Girlfriend broke up with me at the time, so alone
whammy.
across the country. So it's
Why'd
like
she snap in the background? Why'd she snap in the background?
when you're alone too and everything's going down, where's my support system?
I don't like why she's laughing, bro.
Okay, so I have a question. You said that for the first 4 years you started streaming, you had no income. How are you able to survive?
I lived with my mom. I was 16.
So that to a certain extent is privilege.
That's privilege.
It is.
But my mom. How's that privilege? Before you
It's
go there?
privilege because you have the support system to have a place to live.
Well, at 15, 16, I would hope I have parents that would live with me.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't, and they have to
What is
take
that?
9
That's
to
a whole different
5s.
discussion. So a lot of people don't have houses.
A lot of
when they
people
working
don't
9 to
have
5s?
families that support them or accept
But that's a
them.
whole different conversation. What does that have to do with the 9 to 5?
Because they still need to survive. So the fact that you were given
So
the
how did you move to LA?
I moved across the country as well with my mom when I was 15 years old.
Do you not think that's privileged?
I mean, we moved into a 1-bedroom in Santa Monica and shared a trundle bed, so.
Okay.
I feel like privilege checking and running the. I don't know. I feel like we're in a weird argument here. We're entering into like a who had a worse upbringing with less opportunity argument. Now, it is true that streaming requires a level of like, opportunity and wealth to get started, but it's pretty accessible nowadays. It's pretty accessible. Like, you can have a really mid-ass setup and run it. You can have a smartphone and run it. You can have a laptop and run it. Like 10 years ago, it's a different game for sure. But nowadays, I don't really feel like it's the barrier to entry for streaming is so small. It is so small Queso? Yeah, I think yeah, if you think of like how Queso started streaming, if you think of how I Show Speed streams looked, it is quite small.
Okay, well, I was reselling shoes to afford my mom's mortgage and everything.
I get it. I've definitely helped my family out in times where I was able to, but I also had to have my family support me in order for me to have certain opportunities to make money in the first place. So if you didn't have content creation, what would you be doing?
It's a great question. I don't know, because I didn't set my goals that way. I set up my life to that. I know I would do what I want to do. If we all got paid the same every single month, let's say just in simple terms, we all got paid $100,000 a month, a crazy amount of money. Would you guys still, truthfully, I'm asking a serious question, would you guys say that all of our jobs are harder than each other, truthfully?
Yeah, if she was a nurse, she had to go to medical school for years just to
I think
be able to have her
But
foot
she
in the
knew
door.
that she was getting security because she was going to be a nurse, correct?
Not secure.
How is it not secure if you knew what you were going to do?
Nothing's secure.
Nothing's secure. You just proved my point. But you just proved my point.
No job is secure, but content creation gives you the ability to have those savings, to have an audience. And even if you do lose all your followers one day,
Yeah.
even if
Let's
you
say I
lose,
lost it all tomorrow.
you still have residuals of your previous viral
But that's-
videos. Even if people are hating on
But
you and
that's
shitting
not
on you, that's still adding to what goes into your pocket.
There's literally doctors who do one surgery and make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Because they were.
what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that sentence? Bro, if he had just fucking let a 7-second long fart rip there, that probably would have hit harder in the moment than what he just said. Because whatever the fuck that was made no sense in that moment. That made no sense at all. Joko, thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. That made no sense at all.
Trained for decades and they had to go to
So
school.
were we.
You went to school to be a content creator?
Streamer University.
Oh my God. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hypnotica, for the 5 gifts in that. I'm going to go. Who do I give the point to that round? We're at 3-2. I think I go. I actually am going to go. I'm going to go. I don't think she did the greatest job, but I actually think he didn't either. I think her argument about privilege was bad. I think his argument about if everybody made 100K, which job would be harder, was bad. Because I think if everybody made an equivalent amount of money and it was guaranteed, streaming would obviously be a way easier job. Because you have no boss, you're beholden to no one. You get to curate your work-life balance to fit your ideal, as opposed to a boss telling you what you have to do and when and having to shift your life around that. Like that, even that's a small thing. That small thing is so game-changing, I think. The privilege argument was worse. No, I actually think that argument he made was worse. The privilege argument I would say was distracting. It was like a personal thing between both of them having I don't think it was like a broader argument to streaming is harder than a 9 to 5. It was like a personal argument. It was dumb, I agree, but I'm gonna go 2.5, 3.5.
How you doing, bro?
So 2-3. I'm gonna ignore it. 2-3.
Gabe, how we doing?
I'm doing good. So first of all, I want to say I do respect all of you for what you do. I mean, you guys do.
I like
work,
Gabe already.
but you do not work as hard as people who have a regular job.
You don't know that.
I mean, that I do know it for sure. It's very clear. People have to wake up and do their routine over and over again. It's not a daily thing. It's a weekly thing. It's a monthly thing. It's a yearly thing.
True.
It's a life thing.
True.
And if they screw up, they lose their job.
True.
And they always have to be careful because if they do something weird, they say something weird to their coworker or their boss, they're going to lose their job. If you
True.
lose some followers because of something you say, you'll get other followers. And you have a large following enough where there's enough of a range of perspectives that people will always be on board for
Same
you.
with streaming? No, my God. Not even a little bit. Like, yeah, there are people who get canceled, and those people who get canceled still are out there making millions. Mango, I know the argument you're attempting to make. I don't think the path Mango is going to take is switching to a 9 to 5 job. I think Mango's going to, if I had to guess, and I have no idea, this is very recent, I think Mango's going to work on himself, and in 3 years is going to continue to be a creator. And I think 3 years from now, he's going to be a successful creator. That's my hope for him, to be honest, right? Part of this is my hope for him. But isn't that crazy to think about? Like that's the reality, you know? There's like literally an infinite amount of creators we could name who were canceled and perma gone and now are back in doing great. There's so many. It's like dumb to even think. The only people who truly get canceled are the people who have left. And that was their own volition. They left. They did not have to leave. Nobody has to leave. Or they got banned by platforms. Ice Poseidon, he still streams, doesn't he? Johnny Somali, he got literally arrested. I would argue that's different. He didn't get canceled. He got literally arrested and is in jail. I feel like this is a little different. Yeah, Logan Paul got as much shit as any creator probably ever has on like a world stage and is now a global WWE superstar making tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. Wow, that seemed really tough. In fact, I would think streaming is one of the few industries where you can work in where if you massively fuck up, you can continue to work in that industry and be as successful, if sometimes not more successful. Other industries, you just have to switch the industry you're in. You just have to straight up switch it. You just can't.
You, as long as you're producing content. People who screw up at their jobs and lose their jobs, and maybe there's a recession, there's not a lot of jobs, as could be now, they get potentially homeless or worse.
Yeah, like if a doctor has a malpractice suit, they're not going to be a doctor anymore. They have to find a new job, yeah.
Cancel culture?
What's that? Yeah, of course I've heard of it. But how many people have been canceled and came back? I mean, it happens all the time.
Yep.
Your boss is not going to be loyal to you if you don't get that thing in on time 5 times.
Okay, but check it
you're
out.
done.
Okay, so listen, but to be able to get that loyal following of people that do follow you, you need to build that over years and years and years and hours of trust and communication and intimate relationships with your audience.
Okay, so
that's not something that's just given to you. You don't just fall into 1 million subscribers.
Of course not. Of course not. It takes work for sure. But like what you guys are talking about in terms of like the toll it takes on you, a large part of it, and let me tell you something, I'm a little older than you guys, so a large part of it is just general angst from being young, and you just happen to have a camera in front of you and like talking to people or whatever, but at the same time, like, you're doing exactly what most people are doing, which is dealing with life stuff, and that's normal. Like the mental toll that it takes dealing with people and getting comments and this and that, that's what everybody deals with. But you don't have to wake up at 6 in the morning and get to your job and then be there and like be on the whole time, no matter what. Anyone who has a 9 to 5 has to do that.
I said, what do you do?
Well, I'm a college professor, so. I have to do that same
So
sort
you
of.
just gotta come in and teach the same shit for the next 10, 15 years?
Yes, you're right.
Come on, bro.
Right,
You already know what he
We have to produce new shit every day.
For me in particular, to Silky's point, you're a college professor, so you're essentially reteaching the same curriculum to the same students.
That I had to take
what I'm
years
saying?
to learn, but
you know
yes.
what I'm saying? But I started making content when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
It started out playing Call of Duty trick shotting. I don't think anybody in this room could hit a crane shot. I don't know if anyone in this room could quick scope.
I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but okay.
So I had to do that for 4 years.
It is something to be proud of. He's wrong on that. The professor's done a great job. He should be proud of being able to hit a crane shot.
Right? And then I'm like, okay. Then I had to do YouTube for 4 years,
Okay.
right? And then I had to do Faze Clan, build Faze Clan out, fix Faze Clan, and then do streaming.
Okay.
So
with how many people helping you?
How many people helping me?
Yeah.
Come on now.
For which stages?
All of them. There were a lot. You had a team.
I think, there's one funny thing that Adap said. He said, I had to do YouTube. I had to stream. But I think if you were to ask him, he gets to do YouTube. He gets to stream. Because there's nothing else he'd rather do on this earth than those things.
Was
it just you? Like
No.
But the professor has to go into school and teach those kids another lesson. He has to repeat the same curriculum he might have taught 100 times before.
It was just me. There's receipts.
It wasn't built on the shoulders of anyone?
There's receipts.
What if he likes it? Well, he gets to nurture young students who are, really interested in whatever field he teaches. He gets to push them beyond what they thought they would learn. Like there's probably joys to the job.
Receipts on YouTube of me.
Okay, well, where did YouTube come from?
When I was
13, how did YouTube become so easy? Because a bunch of
He chose to do that? No, man, he's got a fucking boss. This is basically like, is it harder to have a boss or is it harder to be the boss? And I think it's harder to... It actually depends on the person, I would say. I think some people aren't well suited to being the boss. But generally, life is better when you are the boss.
people work their butts off 9 to 5, making it a thing.
That's
and
what
if
you
it
did.
didn't exist, you couldn't press play, you couldn't press record, and then just talk.
The fact that you have a campus to teach on. Then boom, there you go.
Right, but I also had to spend years earning my credentials and mastering.
And I did it.
Come on, guys. Your credentials are playing video games. I play video games on my spare time. Come on, guys.
So you just want to get paid to play video games. It's okay. We understand.
Okay, that was a close one. I think, though, I really liked the professor. I really liked the professor there. I kind of want to give a point to the professor. I think I go 4-2. I think I go 4-2 here. I think everything Silky has said, I have thought that is not the thing that I would say in that spot. Yeah, I'm going to go 4-2.
I'm Vicky, and my perspective is coming from a hair and makeup artist, physical job. Doesn't seem like any of you guys can even compete with the physicality.
Brother.
You guys
I know how to do a 3-strand braid.
Just sitting on your butt and talking into a microphone.
know.
Very different. Very different than having to get up in the morning, carry all of your gear. You've got to carry all of your hair, makeup,
Okay,
all
I
of
see
your,
this argument.
all of your supplies. You have to haul it around, get up early in the morning. You stand on your feet all day. You never sit down.
I hear you. I hear you.
You're breathing in toxic chemicals all day.
That sounds tough.
All right, can I talk?
Hairspray.
Listen, so your whole
So
thing.
it's dangerous.
Listen,
Your job isn't dangerous.
So
your job isn't.
Okay, I understood what she was saying until she added the danger part. I wouldn't call being a hairstylist dangerous per se. I think if we were to look at a list of the most dangerous jobs in America, that's probably not up there. I wouldn't think. I think it's like fisherman's dangerous, like oil farmer or whatever the hell is dangerous. I don't think hairdresser's up there, but I digress.
Physically taxing. You're just talking into a microphone.
Bet, listen. So your whole thing. Your whole thing is we can't do what you do, right?
It's not physical. I'm saying that a 9 to 5 job where you physically have to do some hauling around stuff.
No, she's not saying that, Adapt. She's saying that your job is not physical, my job's physical.
So physically, I physically
let him talk. Well, he asked a question.
You can't haul around bags of like makeup. You physically could never trick shot. You could not hit a crane shot. You can't 1080. You can't hold a controller and make a 200K montage. You can't. Man. No one in here can. Come on, man. None of you can. None of you can.
And you have to do that for 12 hours a day.
That is true. None of them have the technical ability to do that. He's the only one in the room who could do that, and I'm willing to bet he could carry makeup bags or hair styling bags to a shoot location. I think he could do that.
Yes. Actually, yes.
He's taking him 4 days to hit a trick shot. He's taking 4 days to hit a trick shot.
Actually, yes, I would have to do that.
And then your day is never done. When you're done On doing that, is your job done? Do you have to go shopping and
Come on,
replace
I gotta
all
edit-
of the things
wait,
that
edit
you
the
use?
video.
You have to clean all of your gear.
You don't know about dry streaks. You don't know about hit markers.
But when you're done, you're
You
done.
don't know about if the Elgato wasn't on.
When
Can
you're
you
done, you're
imagine
done.
these
Oh
things?
my God,
disable resample.
If I rendered my video in Vegas and I sent the editor the clips without disabling and resample.
Oh my God.
My montage is fucked. Your main underlying argument here is what you do is physically
Daily, day to day.
Okay. Your main thing is what you do is physically more taxing and
Yeah.
hard than what any of us
And
do.
dangerous.
I could say the same thing. You cannot physically trick shot. You could never. I would go as far
Okay,
as
so how many hours a day do you trick shot?
I don't think
I agree with him. I really agree with him. She could never. I think she could never. I think if she had a controller in her hand every night, 30 minutes a night for the next 20 years, she could never hit a crane shot. I think that.
How many hours a day do you trick shot? How many hours?
When I was trick shotting, it was 12 hours a day. It was however long I needed to. However
Every
long
day,
I
12
needed
hours a day
to. However
trick
long I
shotting?
needed to hit a clip.
12 hours a day, every day.
5 seconds.
And that clip is.
He carries a Barrett 50 cal and he jumps off of stuff.
I would have to get on Call of Duty, turn my sense all the way up to 10-10. I would have to get to last. I would have to pray to God that he would be in the right spot, throw the concussion. Now I gotta have my rotations down.
Dead zones. Talk about the dead zones.
Talk about dead zones.
Stick drip.
Stick drip.
Thing is, for the most part, but that is not all.
He set up his clip. Stop it. Don't ever fucking talk about a dab like that again. He's never faked a trick shot, bro. Don't ever fucking talk about him like that again in my chat. I'm being serious.
YouTubers that are doing something physical. A lot of it is just talking.
Yeah, but she also said it was dangerous. We could walk around IRL stream and someone could rob us or kill us. I gotta.
Okay, you can get robbed or killed walking around not IRL streaming. That's not an exclusive. I would think the amount of people who get robbed or killed are percentagely not streaming. It's like you're not at a higher risk, I don't think, streaming. You're more likely to be robbed or killed. I don't think you are. I don't actually agree with that statement. Swatting, that's not what his sentence was. So if you'd like to change the goalpost, we can. But what he said is IRL streaming is dangerous because you're at a higher percentage to be robbed or killed. That's what he said. That was his sentence. I disagree with the sentence. I don't think you're at a higher percent likelihood to get robbed or killed IRL streaming. IRL streaming, I don't think you are. I don't know if I buy that. Shady Liz, thank you the 5 gifted. I see every situation where, like, what is the amount of deaths? It's like, I guess they happened recently, right, in Vegas. Like, how many are there in the last 10 years? It's got to be like, it's got to be less than 10, right? I think we can count it on our fingers. Because I'm like running through the ones in my head, and it's not. It's like it's on my fingers right now.
Wait,
they're laughing, but that's happened recently.
I've gotten a pumpkin thrown on my head by a crackhead.
Crackhead ran up to him on stream and almost
died.
Almost
Because he
decapitated
quoted
him
his
when he
thoughts.
was-
Yeah.
My name is Thelma. It's a pleasure.
Someone was literally robbed in Japan last week. How many people were robbed today in Los Angeles?
Thank you, sir. I am very occupational. On my last job, I worked as a librarian with elementary school children. I have been an executive secretary, legal.
Very quiet, peaceful.
By the way, sorry, I forgot to say that round was won by Adapt. It wasn't close. Adapt won that round. It wasn't close. I think it's 4-3.
Yes, yes, all that, because it's who you are that we create social media all the time because that's what we are. We're 9-to-5ers and we interact and have energy with people where I don't think that you guys have that.
We have energy.
Are you serious?
You have false energy because you're across the screen. You're not interacting with people like we do.
So what are we doing right now?
Interacting?
What are we doing right now?
You're doing it now because we're doing a video.
Wait, isn't she debating for us? That's making it harder for us.
Do you know that there's millions of people?
Now I'm not gonna have all y'all gang up on me.
There's millions of people who watch the video and
Yes.
save lives every day. Probably more than doctors.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's people that literally stay alive because they want to watch our videos.
You know about going out into the clubs at night.
You know what? She really did lob the ball up in her own hoop. And somehow, some way, Silky still missed that. Because that was a crazy response to what she said.
Staying out till 2, 10 o'clock in the morning, trying to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning so you can get dressed.
So you was having fun.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
So what I'm saying is like you guys don't do the interaction. You don't touch people like this.
Okay, now.
What kind of shit's going on?
Go to the.
I get the point she's making. She's making the point that like my talking to you 20,000 is not the same as an IRL interaction from a 9-to-5 worker, which I agree with. I don't think it's a horrible point. I don't know if I would phrase it the way she's phrasing it, but what is harder? Managing a chat of 10,000 people or managing customers during Black Friday? And I would think, without a shadow of a doubt, it is customers. Because the relationship here is advantage me. You guys have chosen to be here and like me, and the end product you want is me. As opposed to a 9-to-5 worker, the worker is a conduit for the thing you want, right? The worker is in between what you are trying to get. And I think what that does is makes people treat workers sometimes very disrespectfully. And I see it all the time. You probably see it all the time. When I go to get coffee and I see somebody AirPods on, fucking barely talking, having their Apple Tap Pay out, saying, or like, missing shit. I went to this coffee place the other day. They had yellow feet markers on the ground. And there were people lined up at these yellow feet markers, but people would walk in, they'd look right at the menu. They would line up at a different angle that would lead out to the door. And there was a huge line out the door. And then I was where I was supposed to be. In fact, actually what I did was scummier. I walked into the store. I walked past the people who were in the fake line. I walked to the real line. I cut 3 people. Because I'm like, I knew, and I was like, that's not the line. So I cut them. And then you know what the lady at the front has to say? She has to go, sorry, excuse me, the line's over here, guys. Thank you, sorry. And I thought to myself, how many times does she have to say that a day? How many times does she have to say that a day? Probably miserable. If I have to repeat some shit that annoys me, I right click, I scroll up, I ban. Easy. That interaction's very easy. Digitally, I have a lot of power over you. You can't right-click ban people in real life. I'm sure that barista would have loved to have right-click banned every customer who walked in doing that because she sounded pissed off.
Club, you get to put some shades on and you go by your day to work. We can't do that because we have thousands of people.
You can? No, you can't. Even if you want to kick someone out of the store, that's a whole nightmare of a situation. Get out of my store. Are you a human on earth? Get out of my store. Oh, okay. Sorry. Do you think that's what fucking happens? Have you never seen a video on the internet ever in your life? No, I'm going to stay here then. No, I'm going to stay here. I have the right to be here. I have the right to be here. Well, then fine. We're going to call the cops. Call them. In fact, I'll call them. I'll call them. Have you never seen a Karen video once? Look alive.
But is
You're
that
drunk.
your choice?
You're high. You're
But is
hungover.
that
Just
your
get off
choice?
screen. We don't want to see you like this.
But is that your choice?
We don't like you like this. Why are you doing this?
But is that your choice? You chose that. You chose this
No,
life.
that's the thing. We can't. We
And
can't
that's what's
do what you
happening
do.
now. That's what's happening now with the whole world. It's a total disconnect. When you have a 9 to 5, you dealing with people. You touching people's hearts,
We deal with
souls,
people's
mind. No, you are not.
Do you know how many bands we meet a day?
I think. Look, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, and I respect what you do.
Do you
because
watch
I
any
think-
entertainment?
Oh my
Of
God.
course I watch
So do
entertainment.
you ever-
I got kids.
wait,
I got grandkids.
Do you ever laugh? Do you ever laugh?
Of course I
So
laugh.
then they
We're
interact with
touching
you.
them.
But the interaction is
Did
not
it make you
real.
feel better?
When I'm
Did it
watching
make you- wait, did it make you feel better?
Then what make me feel
Have you
better?
ever
It all
watched-
depends on
have you ever been
it all
entertained?
depends- it
Have you
all
ever been
depends
entertained
on
and been
what's
like,
coming.
oh, I feel good?
Some of it is fake.
right now.
Some of it is fake.
You see, you're not answering.
So now let me.
Okay, well let me answer your because I'm debating him.
Okay, yeah.
But go ahead.
Right after this. Right after this, I got you. Right
Okay,
now. Go
all
ahead.
right, come on.
So when you're entertained, have you ever felt like your day was better if you watched something? You've never felt like that?
Yeah, sure.
So what's the difference with us?
The difference with you is that you
Who is the Chinese dude with the blonde hair that looks autistic? Gee, are you? That has to be a Jason viewer. That just has to be a Jason viewer. It just has to be. That has to be a Jason viewer because only NMS would talk that disrespectfully.
You guys would do this 24/7. That's all you do.
Yeah.
You know, you just like you. Wait a minute. Somebody made a comment about, oh, I can't even go out with my girlfriend, or I can't even go out in public.
That's right.
I can go out in public and be seen.
So it's
You know what?
easier.
I'm a very social. I'm a very.
I think she lost this one. I do think people online can make a connection with people watching at home in a similar way to people in person. I don't think touching is the make or break. You know, and I can think of many people who I've never met who have made an impact on my life I'll never forget. Just by virtue of watching them or talking to them a couple of times. Bro, Technoblade. I never met Technoblade in my life. I never knew what Technoblade looked like. But just by pure virtue of having had a couple of interactions and watching his videos, you know, that's had an impact on my life that I'll carry with me. No touching involved, but I don't know if I buy this argument. So I'm gonna skip, and I'm gonna go point for the boys. So we're tied up 4-4.
I'm Robbie. I'm a server at an Italian restaurant.
Come on, bro. Life's easy.
Oh, that's not fair.
He has the same menu, makes the same food every day. Bro.
First thing I'm gonna say is
He's
nobody
a server, so he doesn't make the food.
is gonna say being a nurse isn't hard. Because my aunt was. That is the
My
most
mom
difficult
was.
shit. How are you gonna disrespect your mom like
No,
that,
she
dude?
is right now.
You're gonna disrespect
She
your
loves
mom
it.
and say that your work is harder?
tells
That
you
is
it's
so rude,
Because
honestly.
she works 2 of them.
Okay,
She works at 2 hospitals.
Let me ask you something.
She said it's mad easy. She can work at 2 hospitals.
No disrespect. No disrespect, but what you do, I'm not your target audience. So break it down for me, because I don't even get it.
Oh my God.
Let me ask you something.
You just said I'm not your target audience because I'm black. That's what you just said. You won't watch me because I'm black. And this is what I'm talking about. It's harder.
He has to get judged every
I gotta get
single
judged every day. Everybody thinks I'm a hoodlum. I'm a nice guy.
He's a jolly dude.
I can't get a job because I got tats. I used to work at Costco's. I had the greatest 401k granted to me. That means that when I retire, I get the biggest stipend of my life. Do you know I could just sit there and just meat pack all day just to really realize that, what, maybe 20 years I'm gonna be sitting on millions because I worked at Costco's?
Yeah, Will.
Okay. I didn't have to interact with nobody, just packing meat.
Yeah, Will.
Come on, bro.
Is what you do fun?
I mean,
Do you enjoy what you do?
if I make it fun,
Do you make it fun?
I could make it fun.
Yes or no? Is what you do fun?
Not everything's fun.
I don't know why he's fighting this. The answer is yes. He's being annoying as fuck. The answer is yes.
Isn't fun. Break it down for me. What do you do in a day? We'll swap stories.
The answer is yes. I don't know why he's being so weird about it. I feel like he doesn't want to like lose any edge in the conversation. The answer is yes. It is fun. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes.
What do you do in a day?
Okay, so it's very stressful, right?
Not fun at all. Because this dude was talking for 20 minutes about playing video games.
Whoa. It sounds like you're jealous, I'm not gonna lie. But
You on his decent.
okay, so look, right?
So I'm jealous of a harder job.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, that was sarcasm, dolts. He was saying, why would you be jealous of a harder job? He's jealous because it's an easier job. Oh my God. These guys are actually dumb as fuck. It tilts me sometimes. It tilts me. He's sold? No. the boys just have no fucking media comprehension or reading comprehension or whatever you want to call it.
Hey, that was sarcasm. You didn't read it. No, I'd like to.
No. Listen. Listen to the time that I wake up. I wake up maybe 3, 4 p.m. You know what I'm saying? I'm already drowsy because I just smoked the night before. You know why I gotta smoke? Because I just deal with thousands of people. I don't even like people. I gotta deal with thousands of them.
No. He's not saying. No,
let him stay. You gonna stay for this, right?
Wait, but you still haven't described what you've done on the whole smoking pot and waking up at 4.
Okay, waking up at 4 p.m., right? Now wake up. I gotta brush my teeth, right? Gotta make sure, cause I got a lot of comments. Now, you know, he don't brush his grills. What does his real teeth look like? I gotta make sure that my
He got Chanel earrings like a bad bitch.
And there's girls in his chat too sometimes. So,
yeah. You know what I'm saying?
See him.
I gotta make sure I'm freshly saving. I'm not saving for this video. I already know what's gonna happen. It's about to be negative comments. Yo, shave that little scruffy shit on your face.
I actually thought that. I thought, what is this? Shave that. Why are there 7 hairs up there? I thought that. Fuck, I did think that. He got me there. I thought that. I literally thought he should shave that. He looked a bit weird.
Right? He got fat.
Now I have to game Marvel Rivals for probably 1 to 2 hours before stream. You know why? Because I don't get to game it for after work. Like I could just game it after work, bro. I can't. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do that, right? After I do that, now I gotta sit here and plan with somebody what I'm gonna do for the stream today. Oh, looks like we got no content. All right, let's see if we could just scrub something around.
No content, no money.
No content, no money. Now look, probably by 8 or 9 p.m., I'm still probably thinking I gotta do something for stream. My mind is fried.
You know what's crazy?
I'm sorry. He woke up at 3-4, brushed his teeth, played Marvel Rivals for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and now it's 9 p.m.
9 p.m. for him? Oh, I did my work today.
You already did my here?
I did my work today.
You took the same boss already.
You're going to sleep.
What? Do I don't want to hog the space here too much, but do you know the expression, give a man enough rope?
You're losing me.
Kill himself?
No, I don't know this. I don't.
Okay, I knew someone was going to make a kill yourself joke. That's not where it goes.
Basically, you're talking yourself into a hole, man. Okay, my turn. I'll be.
Is it kill himself?
Wait, give a man a rope.
What is he?
Wait,
it means,
is that racist?
Wow.
Get this racist out of here! He has no social cues.
Right.
Oh, you're back?
They actually kicked him off. They actually kicked him off. They actually kicked him. Oh my God. Lacey just called him racist 2 times in the Italian server rage quit. Oh my God, dude. He fucking pulled a racist card twice. Oh, Silky, not Lacey, excuse me. That's not racist of me. They're different races. I didn't mix them up because they're a similar race. I mixed them up because they both have ugly ass facial hair.
I want to say to you,
Rhonda.
I'm your black auntie.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say. You say you don't like people. It's all about relationships that you got with
So the score is tied up. I'm going to call the last round a moot. I'm not going to add any points to any team. That round is a DQ due to racism. Unfortunately, nobody wins for that. Him being racist does not help his argument, does not hurt his argument. It is a DQ. It's 4-4.
people. So when you say shit like that, do you really mean that?
Do I not like people?
You said,
I'm an introvert. I'd rather be in my own space. I'd rather be by myself.
And that's okay. But what is it that you're doing that's helping other people?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Saving lives. I'm a superhero.
He's a hero.
I'm a superhero, no cape.
I don't know if I can award a point to anyone off that. What the fuck was even that?
Uh-oh, here you go.
All right, this is all down to Jason.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You look great. You look
That's
great.
right. I'm Thelma again.
I believe 9 to 5 is harder. I mean, fuck.
GG. 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 TG, it's over. He sold. TG. That's it. He went into the meeting and he said, the only reason I killed Fuseli, GG, you're the imposter. That's it. It's GG. You sold. It's over. It's over. There's no coming back from that. Give a man enough rope, they say.
It's so much harder. Why are you doing it?
I can't have a public relationship because of the public eye and how they judge my relationships. I had a breakup with a girlfriend that I loved so dearly.
What the fuck is he talking about? Did he listen to the words that she said? She just said, if it's harder, why are you doing it? And he said, and then he went on to talk about how hard it is to do. That makes no sense. He's just trauma dumping. And stop talking about your ex while Jakura's around.
Because I chose streaming.
So my question.
Nah, I loved her.
My question.
I loved her, and you're laughing.
My question again. My question. If you think it's so much harder, why are you doing it?
Because I'm passionate about it.
Okay, so you love it. You love streaming. So do you love it more than you loved that girlfriend?
That's what I had to decide.
Oh.
I had to make sacrifice, and
So
that's
you-
what you have to do.
so you lost the
streaming.
human
This is before Jakura? Okay.
But guess what? If I had a 9 to 5,
lost the human
if I
touch
was flipping burgers,
for-
I could have had a girlfriend still.
But you lost the human touch for the streaming.
Being a streamer, you have to be judged on thousands of people's.
She's making a really good point, which is he loves streaming so much, he was willing to sacrifice relationships to continue doing his job. And people who have 9 to 5s don't love their jobs so much, they do their jobs to be able to live. But he found a job that he's able to do that supports his lifestyle that he loves so much that he'll sacrifice other stuff to keep doing it. That's an argument to me that streaming is so rewarding that any difficulty you might have is moot because the reward, the payoff, is greater than the sacrifice.
Opinions every single day. 9 to 5 person, maybe one,
But,
2, 3.
okay, and then back to my point. Is that your choice? Was that your choice?
But that's not the point, though. The point
No,
is
that's my point. That's my point.
streaming is harder
Was
than 9
that
to 5. That's the point.
You gave up your girlfriend for streaming. Come on now.
Shit, he ran up a bag. He
Yeah.
ran up a
Yeah,
bag.
I
You did it for a bag.
But the thing is, it comes to a point. Do I pick love and a future with someone I care dearly for? Or do I pick
something that I
future
love?
Something that I'm passionate about and motion. I pick motion.
I go point for the 9 to 5 on that. Jason lost. I mean, first off, he said outright streaming's harder. He said 9 to 5s are harder than streaming. He's fucked it. He said the thing wrong. So he easily loses a point. That's 5 points for the 9 to 5ers, 4 points for the streamers. One thing I'll also add, I was thinking about this when I was listening. What do you think's harder? Hear me out here. What do you think's harder? Because it's kind of like, do you think it's harder to be a... Nah, I'll hold this. I'm going to hold this.
I'm Lala Costa.
Lala Costa? Yes. Amazing name.
Thank you. I'm an attorney.
She makes a percent off people's fuck ups. I like that.
If you had an opportunity
An attorney.
to get a 9 to 5 that you could create yourself, like whatever you want,
Yes,
9
I
to
would.
5, you would take it?
Yes.
Because why?
Because
What?
I don't even enjoy streaming anymore.
You don't?
Okay, now he's lying.
What? Come to this side.
No, but I have to because this is what I built my career off of. I started.
You feel stuck.
What would he do? What would he do here?
feel stuck, yeah.
Have you ever watched a show and you stopped watching it?
Mm,
Have you ever watched a show and you were like,
all the time.
it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have to.
That
I
TV
have to-
show can't. It's done. What happens to all those actors?
It's
after that?
canceled
They gotta
because I
go to-
stopped watching?
Well, no. I'm saying if thousands
Baby,
of thousands of you
Honey.
stop watching.
I think you guys are mixing all
Yeah,
the issues.
Cartoon Network. It's like
and
they
not
got millions of
focusing
people.
on-
You guys know what Cartoon Network is?
If your
It's
father
gone.
would stop, would you come up with a different brand then?
All those people are gone. Yeah, but pivot. That's the point.
What the fuck was that conversation even? Was it so bad that they cut it down to 6 seconds? What was that? Okay, that was trash. We're ignoring that. That was trash. That whole segment was trash. I mean, to be honest, that might be a point for 9-to-5 workers. The fact that you can keep that trash in a YouTube video and still get 1.7 million views, roughly $15,000 for this level of garbage, like that's insane to me. You should be fired, but no one's a boss here, so no one's going to fire you. We'll go back to the video. Still 5'4".
Nice to meet you.
I'm a professional model, but
Okay.
I've worked since I was at the age of 14.
Okay.
I was a gamer too.
I just think personally, like I agree with Jason that I think streaming does take a certain more than a 9-to-5, and I also think everybody in here, right? If you guys all try to be a streamer, right, and then we all try to do what you guys do,
You get L's in your chat.
the probability of everybody here trying to be an attorney is way higher than somebody making streaming a career.
Absolutely.
Roughly 0.4% of Americans are likely to be licensed practicing attorneys, equivalent to 1 in every 240 people.
Your job is just got lucky because you're a gamer. You got lucky. There are so many people
I was
out
talented.
there.
It wasn't
These
pure
days,
luck.
everybody's an influencer. Come on.
No. But
So many.
hold on. But specifically, what I do,
Interesting argument. Yes, maybe operating a business and streaming and retaining relevancy is difficult, but you're only here because you're lucky. Interesting. It's an interesting argument.
I'm not posting selfies around the world.
You got lucky is a terrible take. I don't think it's a terrible take because the answer is they did. Everyone there did get lucky. I got lucky. Everyone did get lucky. There was an aspect of luck for everyone. Nobody who is a streamer had zero luck.
Well, it's basically all pure talent.
Wait,
Okay.
Can I just why is he lucky? Why do we all get lucky though?
What is your talent? Yeah.
Call of Duty. I was a professional Call of Duty player,
So you were sitting at home and you're thinking, what am I going to do with my life while you were gaming? You're like, oh, let's put a
I was
camera.
16, so it wasn't really like that.
You weren't really thinking of what should I do with my life? Like, what should I study? What should I where does my life go? You just got lucky.
Luck is in all aspects of life. I'm not talking about like the luck of where you're born situationally to be able to have played Call of Duty and had that be a part of your livelihood. Like that's not necessarily what I'm talking about, because that same luck would exist for becoming an attorney because somebody inspired you to become an attorney and you got the luck. You know what I'm saying? Like there's luck that could be for, but I think there's like just genuine luck for catching like a wave and getting a fan base as a streamer. Like, how I got lucky is that, Twitch.tv as a website like quadrupled during COVID-19 and I happened to be streaming at the time. That was lucky. I did not plan out COVID-19. And if you ask Asmon's chat, they'll tell you who did plan that shit out, but that's a different conversation. What I'm trying to say is every streamer had a bit of luck in their journey. It was lucky that Cutie was randomly going into my chat one day and I happened to be live. Because I'll tell you what too, if I never found Cutie, I would not be as successful of a streamer as I am. That was lucky.
Not luck, it's just he's determined. He knows that's the only route.
He didn't get lucky. He put in hours.
Yeah, no.
That's what we do too. We go to
it
school,
wasn't
we
luck.
study.
It was luck because there's other Call of Duty players who put in thousands of hours of work and they didn't get successful. It's not like the streamer who works the hardest is the most successful. That's never the case. That's never the case. It's talent. I don't think it's so like, okay, imagine it was the 9-to-5ers and they said, is 9-to-5 harder than being a professional basketball player? Or maybe more accurately is, let's do a soccer player. Is working at 9-to-5 harder than being like a professional soccer player? And I think the answer would be like, fuck no. Because you guys were all clearly, in a very competitive scene to be at the top of the top soccer players to be able to work pro time. You know, like there's very little, or there's much less luck involved there, I think. And I don't think streaming is as one-to-one as being like a professional sports player. There's still some luck. Yeah, I switched off basketball because there's luck in how tall you are. That is a bit of luck. So I switched off basketball. I went to soccer to ignore that. But I'm saying like streaming, and I actually think esports player is similar to like a pro athlete. Esports players, I would also say, is much less luck. So, you know, him starting out as a Call of Duty pro is a lot different than like Ron or Jason, you know. I know Swag's a pro, so that's why, but also then like it kind of ruins the argument, right? Swag being a pro is taking the argument from streaming is harder than a 9-to-5 to being like an esports pro / streaming is harder than it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of a way. But being like a true variety streamer, Ron too, then throw out Ron. I don't give a fuck. Take them both out. Being a true variety streamer, I think there is a good amount of luck in your success.
Everybody's a little bit of luck. I think, you know, people who don't have a job, you know, they feel like they want to get lucky by getting a job. So I think people even having a job is some sort of luck.
He said, how many people of us could do this?
I don't think getting a job is lucky. I think the employment rate would prove that it's actually statistically likely to just get a job. It's very probable. I don't think it's lucky to get a job. It is. I don't think it is because just the percentages. I don't think if something happens to the majority of people, you're lucky. I'm not like, unless you want to go like on the sappy route, like I'm lucky to wake up every morning, in which case, sure. Then everything we do is lucky. And then why the fuck are we even having this conversation? Lucky is just a useless word now. I'm just honestly lucky for this next breath. And like, okay, then why are we even having a conversation about everything's lucky now? Everything's lucky. Everything's lucky. I feel like it's just a dumb way to devalue the word lucky into there's no use of ever using the word lucky.
No, it's luck. It's 1 of a million because for whatever
How is
reason.
that luck? If 1 out of a million, that one has to be the best. So how are you going to dismiss all of his hard work and all of his talent?
Is he the best?
Yeah, I'm with her here. I don't think you have to be the best. I think Adapt is wrong. I don't think you have to be the best. To be the best soccer player in the world, or like one of the best soccer players in the world, like you just genuinely have to be the best. But I think for the streamers, you don't have to be the best to be a successful streamer. You don't have to.
I got four. No. Let me give my statistics. There was over 300,000 people that played Warzone last year. This is the game that I play.
Okay.
I got 4th. So I was a top 12 player across the entire world.
This is unfortunate for her. She got really unlucky. I think she genuinely got unlucky because like actual streamer, which is what she's expecting to be talking to, doesn't have a stat like this. It is a bad matchup. Honestly, that's a bad matchup. It's a losing matchup. It's an unfortunate because she had a great line. She just had a bad matchup. And it is what it is. Sometimes you have a bad matchup.
So that's not luck. That's like pure skill.
So you're dismissing, is Michael Jordan lucky? Is LeBron James lucky?
Yes.
Are they lucky?
I mean,
No,
they have a talent. They have a talent.
So what
you know how many talented people out there and don't get the chance, they don't get the shot at it?
I don't want to take up his time. So he's not talented?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Not
That's
at
what
all.
you just said. You just said.
No, they're being disingenuous now. I think what she's saying makes complete sense. You know what it's more similar to? Being a successful streamer is like being a successful actor. I think there are many successful actors who aren't as good as actors we've never heard of who have never gotten the chance. And I think the proof is in the fact that sometimes you'll see like older actors start popping off and it's like, well, they've been acting their whole life. You just never got to see them early on because they didn't have that opportunity. And sometimes people who are dog shit at acting get opportunities they have no business getting. Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You know? No business being in that spot. She's a model. Yeah, I feel like because she's a model, she kind of gets it. I think she gets that line. Well, to be clear, she's not arguing that being a model is harder than 9 to 5. She says, I'm a model now, but I used to work a 9 to 5. And she's arguing on behalf of her experience as a 9 to 5 and 9 to 5ers. What she's not saying is being a model is harder than a streamer or something like that. She's not specifically arguing for model.
What he did
I
to get
said
to where
a
he
lot
is-
of people are talented don't get the shot to do what he does.
Or people who
So
make it
it's
to the
luck.
NBA.
But I didn't even get a shot. It was, well, I did it off the strength of me. You know, there was no one who gave me a shot or anything like that. I simply was just, you dead ass?
Yo, you being serious?
Why you laughing?
Why they laughing, bro?
It's not luck. I've been doing this for 13 years. I uploaded 3,000 videos. 2,000 was I edited myself while I went to college, worked a job, and still went to school.
This is survivorship bias. It is luck. Maybe not specifically for swag, but like I would say generally for streamers, it is luck. Not like 100%. Like clearly you have to be talented. Clearly you have to have good work ethic. But there are talented people with good work ethic who don't succeed. Why does that exist?
And yeah,
So that's not. I mean, if that's fucking, if that's luck,
where's the luck at in that equation?
Again,
is there a percentage? We are all lucky in some way, right? If we all have a job, we're lucky in some sort of way. But
God bless.
off of specific pure talent. And I worked on that since I was 16.
Again, I work with many talented people. I'm not saying about you. I'm
Yeah.
just talking in general. And there's so many people that are very talented, never get a shot because they don't do the right thing. They don't go the right path. They don't meet the right people. So there are so many even talented actors here. They never get a shot. So I'm just saying it's pure luck.
It wasn't luck. I just saw an opportunity and just genuinely took it. It wasn't a handout. It was simply just, you know what, I'm talented at Call of Duty. This is what I want to do. It took me 8 years to make it a career. Is there something funny?
It's a freaking video game.
It's a talent.
Permission to dick.
It's a bit unfortunate. It's a bit unfortunate that she chimed in because she's she is rocking the 2012 how do you make money playing video games argument here. It's a bit unfortunate because I think the model's actually cooking. She also had a bad matchup against Swag. If she goes up against Jason, she crushes this. Because I think Jason would admit it's luck. Now, and by the way, luck doesn't mean you don't work hard. That doesn't mean that. Those aren't the same. You can work hard, but you need luck too. You need it. You need it. Adapts here. And here's the thing though. I don't even necessarily know if luck means that streaming is easier. Luck implies that you are taking on more risk to achieve streaming as a job. Because now there's a factor outside of your control that is necessary for your success. And generally, we consider things that are out of our control to be hard. In the same way that Adapt would say it is hard to hit a trick shot because there's a factor he can't control, which is will they be in the right place at the right time? Yes, he can get his spins down. Yes, he can get his concussions. But he can't control, where the bullet goes sometimes. He can just control the general area. There's luck there. That makes it hard.
cried? Hey, he's made tens of millions of dollars playing video games, so.
Exactly, that's that privilege. That's that privilege.
But I'm saying though, you couldn't hop on a game and do what I do.
You couldn't do it.
That's a skill.
Your son couldn't do it. Your grandkids couldn't do it.
Some people
Your
can't.
son's grandkids could never do it. They could never do it.
Anything that takes a talent.
The genes are done. They can't do it. They can't.
How many hours a day did you spend?
When I was younger?
Yeah, when you were younger. Dude.
Oh, I would wake up 3 hours before school. So I would wake up at 4 a.m. and I would play before school. The bus would come at 7. I go to home, come back, and do it again. I was 16. What's funny?
See, there's a disconnect here because to you guys, when you guys were growing up, yes, it was just video games, it was whatever. But when we were coming up, we're like, wait, maybe we can make this career. Maybe if we get good enough at it and we create.
Do you not
good
think?
enough
Do you not
content,
think if you're talented at something, it's a God-given gift?
Video games is not like...
You don't think you don't think it's talent.
Yeah,
You're
she's
just too
tough.
old
She's
to-
killing it.
That's yeah. It's just,
She's killing it.
I can't argue that
She's
because
like,
Y'all could never
gotta
play
keep it a-
FNCS either. It's
I
the
gotta
same
keep
shit.
it a buck. There's a disconnect.
Same
You come
shit.
from
There is a disconnect.
generation where this didn't exist. This career, you looked at this career and you laughed. Now, how come in colleges they're teaching courses on content creation and esports?
Oh.
When you grew up, this didn't exist. So no wonder you're gonna laugh when you hear this shit because you're from a completely different generation. You just don't get it.
I would put esports in the same bag as real sports, and I think that is much more skill than luck.
I don't know if you ever will be able to wrap your head around.
Oh.
and it's fun. But it's like
And that's
again, it's
okay.
Oh, you gotta
That's
fight
fun.
back.
That's
You gotta
okay.
fight back. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice meeting you.
I think, man, I actually think the model had a great point. She just had a bad matchup. She loses that one. It's unfortunate, really. It's unfortunate. She loses that one. I think it's 4-5. Wait, what's the score right now? I actually don't even know the score. Who's winning? 5-5? It's 5-5? Ooh, it's 5-5. Okay, this is LG then. This is LG.
I'm Ronnie.
Ronnie, nice to meet
This
you.
past-
My name's Ronnie.
You were talking about job security.
Huh.
Are you familiar with layoffs, with being furloughed? Like taking
We
it back
fall
to
off.
that's being what? What does that even mean?
You lose everything. Every dollar. Everything. You lose everything.
Okay, and then you can rebuild yourself back. You
The same way
reinvent.
you can do if you get laid off. You get a
Yeah,
new
that's
job.
it's kind
okay.
of is it not the same concept? Like
It's slightly different. You could make the argument streaming is a recession-proof job, which historically it has been. So I actually think if she goes for that argument, she can win. It's true. Streaming is a recession-proof job. This girl's actually a bot. Okay, I guess he's not going this route.
I don't know. Back in 2020, when everybody was getting furlouged, everybody was like, "Oh, let me go to social
Wait, no,
media."
she's
That's
good.
kind of
This
an easy
is good.
alternative. So that seems kind of easy.
I know,
And
but
then-
if you lose a job, you can't.
just get another
No,
one?
you can search for. You have an opportunity to search for.
No, but she is right that a regular 9-to-5 job is fickle to the status of the economy. Streaming isn't. It just isn't.
Okay, I've been searching for another one for 10 months. I interview every day, give the same spiel, have to give that smile of walking through my
I uploaded
resume.
videos for 7 years and barely got any views.
And did you you uploaded 7 videos and didn't get any views
went to school, and still
and paid rent?
Yes, I
Wolf
still
Perry
worked.
thing at the prime.
I worked
Oh, so that you had another job.
as a parking attendant. Yes.
Okay, and was that harder
Then what?
than streaming?
No, I was on my phone all the time.
Oh, as a parking attendant, that doesn't sound like you were doing a very good job.
I was chilling.
You were chilling. You weren't good at
Wait,
your
he's
job.
waiting for.
Yeah, when cars park, they're done. Like it doesn't.
Okay.
I don't have to.
Well, that's
I'm not security.
That's
I just
a
go.
one
I go like this. I
9 to
go like this. Yo, right there. I bet. Do you think an aspect of a video game, playing video games, is a talent?
I would say it's a skill. I wouldn't call it a talent. You can master it with,
Okay,
you know,
that's
sorry, my next.
What a meaningless distinction. What a meaningless distinction.
Millions play video games, but there are very few people who are genuinely gifted at it.
Gifted?
Yeah.
What are they, Mozart?
Yeah. I would literally consider Faker Mozart of League of Legends. I would consider him as gifted, if not more. The only classical composer who was more gifted at his craft than Faker is Bach. That is the only one. He was the GOAT. He was the single most gifted and talented classical composer. Faker mogs everyone else, and that includes Beethoven.
Is it not a talent? Why is it not a talent what he does?
You know what? I'm open to it being a talent. I think it's a skill. I think it's something you can master. I don't think you're a Mozart, that you have this gift of like, whoa, when I put my thumb here and this thumb there and do this combo, I do this
You'd be
flip.
surprised.
You
I mean,
would be
there's
surprised.
people out there who are genuinely
They have their opposable
the
thumbs
most
like
gifted-
so good.
You would be surprised if she watched Evo Moment 34 and saw Daigo Perry, Justin Wong, okay, in front of hundreds of people. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Rule 34. I was thinking of porn. Anyway, my point stands. Look up, guys, if you haven't seen this, Street Fighter Rule 34 right now.
Hey, here's a paintbrush. Go paint me Picasso.
Yeah,
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
I'm saying this is so hard. If there's certain games that have $1 million prize pools, if there's a skill you could just learn and you're looking for a job for 10 months, go pick up a controller and go hop in this $1 million tournament and win it.
You
couldn't
couldn't.
win it.
You couldn't. You
Perhaps.
couldn't.
You wouldn't
You couldn't. You couldn't.
You wouldn't
You couldn't.
qualify.
You couldn't.
What do you mean I wouldn't
You can't even
qualify?
find
She couldn't. If I had 100 socks, if she had 100 socks in Super Smash Bros. Melee and I had one, she would never take one. He's right on this. He's just right on this. There's no universe she would ever take a stock ever.
OBS stream key. Stop playing.
I need to work for it, but
So like, but you're dismissing what he does.
Mm-hmm.
You're just dismissing.
She is.
I'm not
oh, it's
dismissing. I'm saying
it's
that's
not a
easy.
skill. It's not a talent.
I
Like,
said it's a skill.
it's
I
easy.
didn't say it's a talent. I said it's a skill.
I don't know
It's a
the
skill that
difference.
you
How
can
do you
own
how do
and
you know
master.
how do you know if it's easy if you haven't done it? Like if you
I've
don't.
played Mario Kart. I've played other games.
Okay, yeah, but I cook you in that shit too. I cook you in that. Like, you never beat me in a race ever. You would never beat me in a race one time ever.
Professional level though.
No, not a professional level because that's not what I'm trying to pursue.
I know, but you don't understand what it takes to be on that sort of level.
She wouldn't even know how to get the lines that I get.
But how can you try to dismiss it and say it's yours is harder?
She could beat Ron. Full stop, Ronnie could beat Ron, and I want to point that out.
How do you know?
What
But how
does
do
it
you
take
know?
to be on that
Because
level?
I've worked at 9 to 5.
Yeah. What
so
does it take to be on that level?
Just gift, and you got to play all
Just
the time.
gift?
Tens of thousands of hours of work and editing and filming and constantly
I'm just
having
talking
to
about pure
innovate and
skill. As far as like the
reinvent
videos and stuff like that, just off pure skill.
I had
you
to
did-
put tens of thousands of hours
Could you get a
into my
refresh second
studies.
zone, Tarping? Could you?
I have no idea what you said.
Could you get a refresh going into second zone with no mats? Can you get a refresh on the best players? You
I
couldn't.
can also put I can circle back and give
Do you
you
know how to
different
short launch
terms
pad?
from
When you're
my
trying to get to third
industries.
zone, third moving. Do you know
I
how to
don't know
short?
what- No,
launch
I
it?
don't. But if I
Exactly,
want,
you couldn't, but Excel sheet, we could do Excel sheet.
no, but exactly. I
They're
can
just
show-
talking. They're just talking game.
These
and
refreshes
As a
don't come to
babysitter,
you.
I can talk to you about the different things I do and ask you, could you do?
Yeah, well, but I'm sorry. When you were gonna, this is gonna be such a throw. There's no babysitter terminology you can throw out. I'm not gonna get. There's just not one. I'm sorry. There's not one. I know diaper. I've had that locked for like 15 years minimum.
Do that. No, but if you wanted to, you would.
If us four
Put on
took 3 days, you don't think we can master an Excel sheet?
Oh,
But let me get.
I actually want to push back on Excel. No, they couldn't. And they wouldn't be close. Excel would fuck them up. They're actually hella disrespecting Excel. In fact, I would go as far to say in 3 days, I think the charts that Jason, Ron, and the rest of them would pump out in Excel would be laughed at. Excel's easy. You're actually just out of touch, and it's okay. Like, don't be embarrassed about that. But you've just never tuned into the Excel championships. Otherwise, you wouldn't say shit like this. Can you imagine how long it would take Jason to delete the gray and move the blue cells to D1 to F25? Do you think that they would achieve a fraction of what this guy could do given 100 times as many hours? No! Because they don't know ball. They have no fucking shot. This guy is an expert of his craft, and I'm sick of you fucking disrespecting him. I'm not gonna lie, they might lose this whole competition off that Excel comment. They might lose that whole competition off that Excel comment. This isn't work? You're dumb as fuck. Yes, it is. The tasks are variables for work things that he would do. The productivity that guy provides is worth 100 Jason Weens, maybe 1,000. And I'm not sarcastic about that. Maybe 1,000.
If I give you 3 days about a video game, do you think you could be that talented as me?
If I wanted to, I would.
So let's pay for her, whatever it is.
She's
Hey,
delusional.
Give you 3 days, but if you
The Mr. Beast challenge. Mr. Beast challenge, you get 1 year to get 1 crane shot. If you do it, you get $250,000. Mr. Beast, put her in a box. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
lose, you got to give us it back in double.
No, that's not how the job works. You pay me, I'll get the job done.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is going to be a point for the streamers here. Her argument was that she could, if she tried, be a great gamer. I don't know, that was bad.
I would say, in a sense, yes, because you have to put in the work and you got to be on 24/7.
It's difficult to answer that question for us, I think, because...
Dude, it actually sucks. They fucking threw a 3-1 lead. They literally threw a 3-1 lead. And we actually have to admit that FaZe Clan won the argument and streaming is harder than a 9 to 5 now. But I won't lie, they were going up against a bunch of fucking janitors. Well, sorry, I don't mean that like... I meant like in the basketball sense, like they're going up against janitors. I don't mean like they were... I'm sorry. I meant like they weren't good representatives for the 9 to 5 argument. Fuck, that's unlucky. I meant, you know how they say that? They say that like Bill Russell went up against, or Will Chamberlain went up against plumbers and janitors. That's what I was saying. Okay, unlucky. It's unlucky. We're going to move on. It's unlucky that I feel like if they had chosen 9 to 5 workers who were in the same age group, who just understood gaming, then they wouldn't have lost so many 1v1s. Because they just lost 1v1s to not understanding gaming. That was really it.
We didn't come up in this time frame, in this era. So
Yeah, it was a bot lobby. It was a bot lobby. You guys actually farmed a bot lobby in like, you won 6-5 in a bot lobby, but I mean, this might be the first time you faked a clip.
Technology is totally different now, because we were just
Like,
talking
I
about-
think Ronnie was a friend of yours that you paid to sit in that chair and throw. Because there's no way that you should be hitting that shot. There's no way.
playing tic-tac-toe on the sidewalk with Carl. I appreciate and respect what they do, and I think that's the consensus for most of us, that we appreciate and respect where they are. Yeah. But it's not, what we did was, we just feel like what we did was harder. And that's what I think.
So
My mind was changed in the sense that now I'm even more convinced that normal jobs are harder.
I'm a little sad that I think they got close. They got really close. I think 9 to 5 wins this argument for free. And they got close, but unfortunately they did lose. They lost. It is what it is, but they lost.